Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we'll be reviewing sort of a tragedy movie.
It's not a tragedy, it's an action movie.
Action movie with natural disaster thrown in, called Snakes on a Plane, which was released in 2006, I think it was.
Yeah, this is supposed to be an action film. So, and there's action in it. Yeah,
There's action
I
in
can't complain too much, but it kept me on the edge of my seat wondering who's going to get eaten by a snake or get poisoned or something or other. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's not too bad. What do you reckon?
I thought it was a pretty cool movie. I mean, I've been on the back burner, having this movie on the back burner for quite a while, and I was waiting for an opportunity to actually review this one.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty good, and I think it has a lot of good things recommended. Taking two disasters that could really occur in real life and squish them together.
Two disasters?
Like bringing snakes on board a plane and malfunctioning inside a plane.
Oh, yeah, malfunction, I suppose. Yeah.
That could happen.
Okay. You see, the airport movies could have done that, couldn't they? Yeah, they had this, that, and the other. They could have put some snakes on there and made Airport 5
but
or
there
6
has
or
been a
something.
lot of other movies that dabbled with planes, and they throw in a curveball to keep people on edge and keep people, on their toes a lot. So go into
Whatever.
it, Mike.
Anyway, I'll do my usual stuff now. Okay. Produced by Craig Berenson, Don Granger, and Gary Levinson. Directed by David Ellis. Screenplay was by... story was by David D'Alessandro and John Heffernan, yeah. Now, the screenplay was actually written by John Heffernan and Sebastian Gutierrez. I think I got the right pronunciation there.
Right.
I get very worried about saying the names right because I don't want to insult anybody. Now, one of the reasons why I like this movie is the actors. And when I like a movie, it's usually the actors draw me in because they can usually bring make a good movie better and an average movie better and and a poor movie more interesting.
Yeah.
So,
With the right cast members, you get good results, in other words.
So Samuel L. Jackson is one of the main leads. He plays an FBI agent in here. He's doing a witness relocation sort of thing on the go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll just go through some people here. Blah, 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 blah. No. Okay. Juliana McGeels, whatever, plays Claire Miller. She's a flight attendant. Nathan Phillips is Sean Jones, a surfer and dirt bike racer who witnesses a brutal murder and is being taken care of by Samuel L. Jackson, who goes by the name of... I didn't mention it, but name as Agent Neville Flynn. Why wasn't Agent Smith? I don't know.
I think everyone has had their bucket load of Smiths.
Yeah. There's a few other people.
And plus, it doesn't sound believable.
Look, the main people are really the Samuel L. Jackson and his charge. I won't go for all the other people there.
Most of them, they're mostly just
they're cannon fodder for snakes that chew up and stuff. And,
or mostly just a little bit of a side story in there in why they're on this plane of sorts.
That sort of stuff, yeah. So we won't worry about all the other people. If you want to look, go on Wikipedia or IMBD or something rather.
I mean, we have this celebrity, like he's a singer, rapper, whatever they call him, and you have a businessman who's a total jerkwad. And we had this lady who carries around this nice, cute little Chihuahua dog. I think it was a Chihuahua dog. I'm not sure.
Or whatever, yeah.
I'm not familiar with that breed very well. And there are two little boys that are traveling on their own, and they're being sent over by their dad, who's a bit of an army soldier guy, who's just sending them over to see their mum. I don't know the story there, but it's not really important.
I will mention one. No, I won't mention anybody else now because they're bits and pieces. But Anyway, we'll get into it, shall we?
Box office. That's usually important. We want to find out how much this movie cost and how much in the box office,
how
obviously.
much they made? Well, they didn't do a loss on this one, which is nice. It cost... Oh, excuse me, I'm a bit tired today. That's $33 million was the budget. The box office was about $62 million. Now, not knowing what home media did, I would say it did reasonably well. It made money for the studio.
Yeah, in other words, quite a bit of money, a lot.
Well, enough to make it interesting. And you don't want to go backwards on a movie, otherwise you can go out of business. So.
Yeah, at least enough to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And pay back the crew members.
And the snake handler. No.
Anyway, so I'll dive into the movie as per usual.
Splash.
So the movie begins. Nathan, who's just a surfer, he's traveling around Hawaii because he's a surfer, and then one day he witnessed the brutal murder of either an accountant guy or a lawyer, I'm not sure, who's being tortured by a gangster named Eddie Kim, I think his name is, who's a gangster, and he wants him killed off.
Now, can I explain something? You got it wrong.
Go on.
He witnessed the brutal murder by the Eddie Kim guy on a prosecutor, like a lawyer guy.
Oh, yeah, lawyer. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was a lawyer or an accountant.
In Hawaii, yeah. So, Mr. Sean Jones is escorted by the FBI agent, Neville Flynn.
Yeah.
And another one called John Sanders on an aeroplane, a 747, which I was right. Yeah.
Well, I didn't doubt your plane revenue. So, anyway, he meets the FBI agent at his hotel, and so he goes, no, the gangster guys, they kind of got his license plate on his bike.
Well, they found him. They just say they found him.
And they found him, and Flynn was able to get him out of there and asked him if he swore testify against Eddie, then they'll be sure to protect him, and if he does this, he'll be put away for a long, long time, obviously.
Lovely.
Okay, so we're on the plane. Now, here's the assembled cast. See, Nathan is allowed to have first class, but...
They
Flynn
moved all the first class. They moved all the first class passengers out of first class, so the FBI can take it over and have the prisoner up there, so he's protected.
Yeah, so he's allowed first class, while the remaining ones who paid for first class tickets are forced to stay in the second or third class.
Business class or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not too happy about it, but who cares?
Arrogant rich people.
Yeah, there's one businessman who acts all arrogant and he's like a total nasty man. There's a man who's the DJ I mentioned who who's a bit of a germophobic, I think you'd call it.
One of the clean freaks. He's always washing his hands. Doesn't want to touch this. Doesn't want to do that. Yeah. Because Michael Jones, this person, all that
He's
thing.
accompanied by his two men called Troy and.
What's his? Troy and Leroy.
Yeah, Big Leroy.
Yeah.
So, and then we meet the little boys, and we meet the stewardesses, pretty, beautiful, lovely.
Normal.
And the head stewardess who's on her last trip, I guess, because she didn't want to give up a job.
She was on the last trip because wasn't she going to be a lawyer or something? He said she'd been studying.
No, that wasn't her. That was this one was a senior.
Oh, the old girl.
Stewardess.
No, the younger girl with the blonde hair. She was leaving. That was the last flight too.
Yeah, see, she's in her 60s, maybe.
The old girl.
She's old, and she's been doing this for quite a long many
Hey, what
years.
has freaking fly points?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. Anyway, Claire plans on leaving being a steward to become a lawyer, or studying to be a lawyer, obviously.
Whatever, yeah.
Anyway, so everyone's loaded onto the plane, and along the way, we actually see in baggage handle some guys smuggling a very large crate full of snakes.
Well, actually, here's a little bit of. They got a big box of snakes.
Right.
A mixture from all the poison snakes you can think of.
Yeah.
However, there's also a load of flowers they're putting in there, and they're putting some chemical free hormones or something or other.
Yeah, to make them either harmonious or angry.
Yeah, so they spray it, it agitates them, so they're going to be very aggressive.
Yeah.
So they're going to attack anything that moves.
The box is set on a timer, so once it gets the plane itself gets over the sea, like as in way out into the ocean, this box is set to open and all these snakes pop out. So
Yeah, it's pheromone. I think that's a chemical.
Yeah, sort of I guess a timer, if that's the word, to
Yeah,
open
the time to open the box at the right time,
Yeah.
and when the snakes come out. Oh, here's something too. That some of the people were handed lays when they're going on the airplane.
Oh, yes.
These were also
the same
sprayed
colour,
as
yeah.
pheromone. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see where they sprayed it, but it's hinted that the snakes respond to those.
Yeah, it agitates their breeding, aggression, and different things. Like testosterone and stuff. How's that?
Yeah, only much.
For snakes.
Yeah. So anyway, as they're going overseas, a couple of people get to know each other. Like the nice lady with the dog gets to know the germophobic DJ, and the Claire, the stewardess, befriends the little boys and stuff like that. And she befriends the FBI agent. Flynn, obviously. I mean,
well, that's Samuel L. Jackson's nice man, isn't he?
yeah,
Of course he is.
And the other stewardess, the other young one, obviously, starts getting flirty with Nathan, obviously, and she asks him why he's getting first class and all that stuff. He must be a very important person. Yeah. Well, he does explain to her that he is a witness to a crime and he must go and testify against this said person
to do his bit.
Yes. So the time bomb clicks, and soon all these snakes spring out, and they start going through different parts of the plane. Sometimes even to inside the air vents, I think.
Well, yeah, any crawl space, pardon the pun. Any crawl space where there's wiring and controls and air conditioners and stuff.
The snakes start attacking the airplane equipment, and one of the captain of the plane, he notices some kind of something going on downstairs that's in one of the equipment.
He had to flick some circuit breakers down there because the snakes tripped the circuit breaker somehow or other. Yeah.
He goes down there and he gets tripped up by a few snakes, and his co-pilot thinks
he's had a heart attack.
Yeah, a heart attack. They pull him out, and
the snake went and hit itself. When they went down to take him out. So that doesn't work out right. But anyway.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, soon enough, the snakes begin to come inside the cabins, and people don't notice them at first. Some of them look like they're about to be bitten or anything, like that. But soon enough, you notice right away that their feet are on top of the of their chair. Like there was one lady who was asleep, and she doesn't notice a snake crawling up her blouse.
Crawling up a leg under her dress and up through the top of the dress skirt, and into the blouse. And she thought she was having a pleasant dream,
erotic dream.
And she thought,
Anyway, two people who are sexually active decide to go into the toilet to do some
join the
stuff.
Mile High Club. You know what I mean, folks.
They take out a cigarette and they undo the special fire extinguisher thing.
Wait a minute, it wasn't the fire alarm thing. Yeah. Smoke detector. No, they wasn't the cigarette. It was sharing a joint. They were high as kites.
Yeah, because anyway, they took it out, and when they were getting down to the nitty gritty, these snakes start coming.
When they took the smoke detector down from the ceiling, left the hole. And guess where the snake came from?
Yeah.
Straight out of the hole where the smoke detector was.
Yeah.
They should have left it there.
And I was going to say in this movie, is that a snake in your pocket, or you're just happy to see me? Soon enough, the snakes attack, and all the while, the people outside think they're just getting down to
getting busy,
getting busy.
And the hostesses and all the flight attendants saying, "Oh, gee, they're going at it pretty good."
Yeah, and she's
they
like,
don't realise they're being attacked by snakes.
No, they're just assuming that she's screaming out of ecstasy. Anyway, another person goes into the toilet, but he doesn't go. He's not there for Rumpty Dumpty. He's actually there to do a bit of refreshing.
He wanted to relieve the pressure on his bladder. How's that?
He then gets a bit of a chunk full of bummer snake.
You could say he got a head job from a snake.
Yeah,
how's that?
That's probably the best word I can say.
He did. Whoa.
Yeah.
That would be so painful, guys. Hey.
Yeah. Soon enough, the passengers start noticing the snakes, and they also pop down from those air. The special air.
When they pop down little air, when
airbags.
The breathing things when you depressurize the cabin, you put this little mask on. Well, they came out of those little, what do you got? The cowling, that's it. The cowling up on top. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, everyone starts panicking. And quickly, some people try to get away. And most of the time, some of the people they got bitten, stinged, and stuff like that. Eventually, some of the remaining ones get to the next part of the plane and were able to put a barrier between them.
You got all bags stuff out of the overheads, and they made a little bit of a barricade, and they used fire extinguishers and stuff to CO2 ones to scare the snakes away because they don't like cold. Flynn contacts his guy on the ground, the guy who is from the FBI agency ground, and tells him about the situation. And he asks him to contact the most knowledgeable person, snake handler in the world. Yeah. So they happened to have one in America.
Yeah, and the guy explains that it's impossible to get that many snakes, considering that this
all those different breeds,
all these different breeds in Hawaii.
Yeah, that would unless had. So implying that someone put them there.
Yeah, they also said that there's concerns about what kind of snake anti-venom thingies they need to get, because if they put the wrong chemical inside the bodies, they could die. So they ask Flynn to retrieve some dead snakes that are dead and take some photos. Yeah. Luckily enough, there was a passenger who happened to have one of those special phones that allows you to take photos.
Special phones, all phones do it nowadays.
I know.
But back
in those days,
back in those days, probably wouldn't have been very popular.
It was not a very big thing.
That was 2006. Yeah. So wouldn't be as much.
Phones back then would have been the newest.
Well, they would have been still doing it, but not everybody would have had one. Yes.
Good point. Anyway, they took a few, and then the guy the scientist explains that these snakes are not origin to Hawaii; they're all over the world.
Bloody tourists! You just can't.
So he then tells the FBI agent guy, the only other person who can handle this many snakes, distribute them to under the table, whatever, is located in America somewhere.
He's a naughty guy who deals in the black market in snakes, I gather.
Yeah, they do find him, and they eventually get the anti-venom stuff, and he gets bitten by one of his own snakes. Can't trust your own, can you?
Naughty snakes.
And he gives them a list of snakes he gives to Eddie Kim that he gone ahead to do to get them on the plane and stuff like that. So these guys know when they didn't know about the plane's snake stuff, I no doubt that the plane would have crashed and people would naturally assume this was caused by natural causes or just pilot error or gosh knows what explanation they would have run past them in the movie. I mean, that probably explains why they hope they kind of set the timer of the opening the box so that they can no trace of evidence will be found of the snakes, even though there's a big chance that the captain or his co-pilot may report the snakes on the recording thingy-wingy, and maybe someone may have found the yellow boxes, the special yellow boxes that record all the conversations.
Everyone knows what a yellow box is.
If you watch the airport investigations, you know what I'm talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, soon enough, they realize that the snake, they're in big trouble, so they end up... So Samuel Jackson, he has to go all the way back there to try to save some other survivors. He saves one of the flight attendants was able to help a mother retrieve her baby, but gets bitten in the process.
Yes.
And of course, I don't know if she'll survive. I don't think she will.
I think so, but you know. Yeah,
anyway, according to the scientist guy, the snakes there, like depending on different breeds, some of the people may die of the snake's venom.
Well, some would have died,
either in 2 hours or less than 2 hours.
Yeah, but a lot of them were dying on the plane.
Yeah, true.
It's only the survivors who got the venom, anti-venom.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so Samuel goes in the back and he finds the box and he finds the flowers, and he realizes the flowers were the possible mechanism that kind of caused the snakes to act aggressive. Yeah. Even though the scientist explains that snakes would not operate immediately, act aggressive, not unless they're threatened or
stimulated by something.
Yeah. So
which is their free, whatever it's called, that stuff.
He tells Nathan to stay in first class, but he doesn't want him to bring the others onto that part of the plane. But Nathan has a conscience, I think, and
he brings them there to save them from being chewed up by the snakes.
Yeah,
what a nice boy.
One of the businessman gets chewed up by a boa constrictor.
Yeah, that's a boa constrictor of all. Yeah, I mean, crikey, he could have cut his own. His own aeroplane.
Yeah,
he's a big fella.
Yeah, just after he ate that's Chihuahua dog I mentioned.
Yeah, but that was on track.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So he got this guy, and he wrapped himself around this guy
and choked the life out of him.
Blech. He was a nasty man. No one's going to miss him.
Anyway, they get to the first class and they use the life raft as a bit of to barricade the snakes off as much as they can. Of course, that works for a little while, but they realize the co-pilot who got bitten earlier, they did flush out some of the snakes, but more snakes came into the cockpit, and he dies, of course. And they now are operating on autopilot.
Autopilot, wonderful guy. He deserves more money. Yeah.
So they have have limited time left, and they must try to find someone to fly the plane and hopefully land it. Of course, the only person on the plane that could land it is Troy, who says that
he knows how to fly.
Yeah.
He's had 70,000 hours flying experience.
Yeah.
But no one actually knew at the time the amount on his PlayStation 2 flight simulator.
Yeah.
However.
So anyway, Flynn comes up with the idea of blowing out one of the windows to suck the snakes out through the window so the cockpit will be empty so they could actually touch the...
get in there and fly the plane.
Yeah, fly the plane.
So
he gets everyone to get into their battle stations, get locked down into position while he's about to shoot the window, and then they can open the door and allow the snakes to fly out. Yeah. Of course, they do this and all the snakes fly out, and soon enough Flynn and Troy get into the pilot's seat. While this is happening, the remaining other snakes get after the special lifeboat gets sucked out. Soon enough, all the snakes themselves begin to sit right through that little
straight out the
thing.
window. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You said that already. Okay,
yeah.
Move it.
Anyway, Troy goes and talks to the landing tower guys, telling them that he's going to be landing the plane, and he explains his pilot's experience to them. And of course, they're less than thrilled that they're letting an amateur do this.
They've got nobody else up there.
Yes. Agent Flynn tells them, we have no other person on board to fly it.
So deal with it.
Yes. So he asks him for the landing coordinates, yada, yada. Of course, they say, we need you to land on so-and-so area because this part is rather,
He says, you haven't got time because people are dying up here, so I'm coming straight in here. Get the crap out of the way. I'm coming in.
So he ends up going in, and eventually, for a while, he's doing really well, actually, for a guy who's never flown before.
Never flown a real plane before. He bounced the plane when he hit the tarmac, coming out a little bit too early, but apart from that...
Yeah, and he soon eventually puts on the brakes, and for a while we think we're not going to stop, but we do stop.
Yeah.
And then we all say, "Oh, hail, PlayStation 2!" Including Flynn saying that. Anyway, so... The passengers are loaded off the plane on that special slide.
That blow-up ramp thing.
Okay.
They inflate so people slide down and get off the plane. Now, this plane was landed right near terminals or a hangar or something. You would think they could just roll the steps up to the plane so they could have walked down the steps instead of going down the slidey thing.
I think it's a lot more fun.
Like every movie I see... Whether the plane's damaged or not, they let's go on the slidey thing. Why? Somebody might hurt herself. Then you got a compensation claim happening here.
Yeah. Anyway, one of the little boys gave the head scientist guy the picture of the snake that his brother was bitten.
It was a cobra.
It was a cobra, and somehow he saved... They couldn't find the dead snake because of reasons, so he had to draw it from memory, obviously. Luckily enough, he did. He saved his own brother's life. No, a moment too soon when I think about it. Anyway, Nathan and Flynn are the last people on the plane to get off, and before that could happen. Nathan gets nearly tackled by one of the snakes. You can't put a good snake down.
Nah.
And luckily enough, Flynn was able to pull out his gun and shoot the thing.
The snake attacked Nathan, and bit him in the chest, but he was wearing a bulletproof vest, which he'd been wearing all the time, to protect him from bullets, not snakes. And needless to say, snakes can't shoot through a bulletproof vest.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was just luckily he wasn't biting into his neck or any other vein that
Exactly.
exposed.
With my luck, you get me right in my mouth or something, or my nose, or my ears, or something. Or other.
Anyway, they're back on the land, and now they proceed to either.
Do whatever.
Yeah, Claire begins to say, "Hope we get to hang out again." To Flynn, I mean, they got close a little bit, and Nathan gets the phone number from the other stewardess, and
The blondie, you look
yeah,
good.
and then when things settle down, like once Eddie Kim is locked away in prison somewhere, we see Flynn and Nathan.
Well, Nathan takes Flynn to Bali to teach him to surf.
Then then we fade to black and the credits roll.
Yeah.
And this before that ever happens, a post-credit scene of the snake comes out of our screen.
Yeah, that would have been great in 3D. Yeah,
Yeah, wouldn't that be
you would
cool?
have been wetting your pants by then. Yeah.
Now that was snakes on the plane. So, all right, Mike. So let's roll into the reception part to this production.
Well, I'm not going to say too much, but because Sarah had said, go on, tell us about it.
Well, it is important considering audiences and reviewers do.
But sometimes reviewers don't know what to talk about. But anyway, I'll go through some of the stuff I got written down here. And okay, all right. Blah, 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 blah. Well, here's something.
Okay.
Before we start. I think it was distributed by New Line Cinema. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, it says here, New Line Cinema did not screen the film for critics. Aha.
Really? No wonder they're jealous.
Okay. Now, here we go. So far, as of 2022 anyway, Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 69% approval rating based on 178 reviews. So it lives up. Yeah, so they were happy with it.
So it lives up to
Metacritic, they had 58% based on 31 reviews.
Okay.
So they're a pretty good group. They're usually a good indicator of audience people. Whereas some of these other ones are your reviewers from newspapers and magazines, which I do not like because they haven't got a clue. Now.
Or care, for that matter.
Here, audience surveyed by CinemaScore gave the film a B- on an A to F scale, so that's pretty damn good too. Now, the Arizona Republic's Randy Cordova gave the film a positive review, saying an exploitation flick that knows what it wants to do and it gets the job done expertly.
Their word, the exploit.
I don't know what exploiting.
I don't even know why they use that word.
Poor old snakes. I don't know. But,
the only person that was exploited was the snakes,
Yeah.
and technically, everyone had a chance in this movie. And I don't see what their big issue is in that very scene.
Okay, right. Mike LaSalle from San Francisco Chronicle enjoyed the film as well. He said, if you can find a better time at the movies this year than this wild comic thriller, let me in on it, because obviously he liked it. So he's saying it's really good. If you're trying to think better, I want to see something better as well. Boston Globe reviewer Ty Burr reacted to Samuel L. Jackson's performance by saying he bestrides the film with the authority of someone who knows the value of honest builds. He's as much an auteur of this baby as a director and the screenwriters.
Sweet.
Which means to say that Samuel L. Jackson's a damn good actor, and his acting told the story quite nicely.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's good to know.
Is
there anything else?
I'm going through. Here's one. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4. There's always going to get a negative one. Saying that after all internet hype about these, I won't say what word he used here, snakes on the plane, this flick itself is a murky stew of shock effects repeated so often that suspense quickly drops along with your eyelids.
What? I don't even get that. Considering the fact this is the only movie that dabbles with both snakes and
it became a bit samey after a while. Okay,
gee whiz.
It's like your zombie flicks from the Asian guys. That one we did on the train to Busan. We knew the zombies were on the train, blah, 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 and there's only so many ways somebody can get killed by a zombie. He's just saying it became a bit
anyway,
samey for him, okay?
Yeah, anyway, I was going to move on to the other reviewer that was saying, calling this movie an exploitation movie, which he has no effing clue. It has Samuel Jackson. What's the problem there? I don't see the problem there. It's just, I just don't see it as an exploitation film. I mean, I know what they're trying to say. It's a movie about exploiting something, but this doesn't talk about exploiting.
The snakes were exploited. There you go.
Anyway, go on, Mike.
Blah, blah, blah. Nothing more else there, really.
I just don't get them.
You asked me to do this.
I know, but they seem to talk out of their mouth, or not really talking out of the back of themselves, and they just don't know what they're talking about.
Technically speaking, this movie could have been a bit lighter and could have been a good adventure action flick for kids as well, but they made it a bit more adulty with the violence and stuff, and a bit more graphic and stuff and different things. So what happened is that they made it... what was the rating on it? They wanted PG.
They wanted PG, but I mean, something about PG-13, whatever. They wanted that, but they couldn't.
So it's R or adults only.
R-rated, whatever.
Right, yeah, because of the violence and stuff. Yeah. Box office, like I said before, was it did quite good at the box office. They're obviously hoping to get more, but didn't get it. Home media, obviously, it's been going for a few years now, so they probably made some money back on it. Not much to say. It is a movie.
Yeah.
Which it's about snakes on a plane.
That's another thing. When they were talking about making it 13, I gotta admit, take away the sex, take away the fact that dealing with the violence. And you're going to be... I don't think it would be as interesting as it ought to be. Considering, without the bit with the opening with Eddie killing that lawyer guy, it would lose its motive.
I mean, the people being bitten by a snake while having sex in the toilet, that was interesting and funny. Yeah. You hear about people join the Mile High Club, let's go in the toilet and have sex. Well, that's really good. You don't expect an extra snake to be in it, do you? No.
But you've got to admit, Mike, I mean, removing that part about why he's being transported to
You need a reason.
You've got to have a reason. You cannot just remove it because you think it's too over the top.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to digress here. There's a movie with William Shatner in it a couple of years ago, one of the spiders.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's still called at the moment. Anyway, these spiders come from another location in a bag of coffee beans or some sort of stuff they brought to this area inappropriately and hadn't been quarantined properly. And these spiders, for some reason, go rampant here and breed really good, so much so they take over the town and kill everybody. But there was a backstory. There's everything had a reason for it. And you take the reason away and all of a sudden, there's some spiders here. Well, why are the spiders here? And what's their motivation?
Yeah, that's the thing about movies.
Yeah,
they keep...
you need to have that bit of a backstory for what's
almost
going on.
A lot of the reviewers, and most fan comments I've heard, keep on saying why it has to take place with this. Why does it have to happen like this? Hello guys, if you want a movie that has action and a bit of horror and stuff like that, you're going to need that bit in the middle.
Exactly. You need the fillers in there. You can't say, okay, we're on a plane, there's the snakes, let's survive the snakes. Yeah, but you do other bits. The lady with the dog being a pain in the ass. That's not the people having sex.
It may be graphic and weird,
but you need the filler bits.
But if you won't be taken seriously as a real movie if it didn't have these.
You need stories.
Bits. You need stories. You need side stories to explain the person why they're there. Stuff like that.
Now, look, I would say a percentage of our listeners would have been on an aeroplane. And there's always going to be some obnoxious person sitting just near you, talking too loud, pushing the seat back, doing something rather than being obnoxious to the flight attendant. Well, they brought it into the movie to make it real.
Yeah.
Same as the airport movies.
Exactly.
You know?
Considering these guys, the guys who have written the script, and they're probably used to this type of odd behaviour on airplanes.
And another point too, it's just a one location type shoot, apart from the beginning, where the guy witnessed the guy being killed. Everything took place on the plane. So you've got a controlled environment, small. You have to make it interesting. Otherwise, we're going to sit here, watch the movie get eaten by a snake. Very boring movie.
Yeah.
So you got some comic bits, some interesting bits.
I just don't understand people, especially people who keep judging a movie, judging its horror, judging everything about it.
That's not my favourite type of movie. Well, don't watch it.
Yeah, there was one person who was saying on, I don't know, I mean, I did think it's ridiculous. There was one person who was commenting on the new Hocus Pocus movie that came out just last year.
You're not doing a remake of them.
No, it's not a remake, it's a sequel, I said. That's why I said Hocus Pocus 2.
Okay.
So,
Sorry.
A mother told them not to watch it, and it was just a weird comment because she says that this movie will get into your kids' heads. Yeah. Hello, movies do get into people's heads. It's up to us to work out the difference between fiction and reality.
Yeah, well, actually, you brought this up. Okay, I'm going to talk about this just for a moment or two without interruption.
Try not to.
A lot of people blame movies for, I suppose, loading people's heads, especially children and young people, or even slightly deranged people who have a problem with reality, and giving them a full sense of reality and think, I can get, they did it in the movie, I can do that. Well, yeah, but there's a bit of common sense needs to come in. You're going to watch a movie. Look, I used to watch movies years ago when I was a kid, adult movies, and my parents weren't home.
Yeah.
I did not think I was an axe-murderer or a gangster or anything else. I just enjoyed the movie for what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't go around killing anybody or beating people up in the street or anything else. I just enjoyed the movie for what it was. And I was in my young teens at the time, and I was watching adult movies. And they were they were bad for their period. Now, obviously, the movies have gotten bad over the years. Still, we get desensitized to violence and sex in movies, but we also, most of us, know it's not real. And anyone who's watching these movies, especially a kid, firstly, what are mum and dad doing? Aren't they supposed to be responsible for what their child watches on television or on streaming sites or whatever? Don't blame the media. It's all like the people say, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Well, same thing. The movies don't do anything wrong. It's just a movie. It's like reading a book.
Yeah.
It's what it does to the person who's actually watching it, whether they're going to be a bit stupid about it or a kid watching an inappropriate movie that mum and dad should be controlling.
Another thing I've learnt about movies, will give you, or at least me, in my opinion, because it makes me realise I don't want to do the things that this lead character does do.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go out and go fighting in wars or stuff like that. I don't want to.
Exactly right. That's a good example.
And
I like World War movies. I would hate to be in the Army, Navy, Air Force.
Yeah.
I do not glorify war, but I do like the movies because it does give you an idea of what they went through.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And they, in those movies, they glorify violence, stuff like that.
Well, some do.
Some do.
Yeah.
But in reality, it was.
It's not a good thing.
It wasn't a good thing for some people.
Exactly right.
Anyway, whenever I do encounter things like this, and maybe a character who is a really aggressive and nasty character, I keep reminding myself ever so often never to stoop to their level.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Now, okay, we'll leave that part alone now. Do you want to go into grading it?
Yes, I will. So, rating time. I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10, which is very unusual for me because I never haven't done a 10 out of 10 in ages.
I wouldn't go so far as do a 10 out of 10, but it's got to be at least a 9.
I see.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9. Yeah.
Well, it's just, to me, I like the mix they put this movie in. Like taking sort of gangster-related stuff and trying where they smuggle the creepy snakes onto the plane, and then all hell breaks loose on that plane, and then it's a matter of life and death with the remaining survivors as much as you can.
Anyway,
it does seem like a good mixture, even though some people don't really like it too much.
Some people don't like that, but look, it's like anything. I don't like every movie ever made. Crikey, some of them are really crappy, but some people like them.
Yeah.
So it's So don't bag a movie because you don't like it. So here we go. Right, eBay, plenty for sale. Yay! Amazon, it's rentable, and there's quite a few for sale there as well. However, I'm going to say this right now. This is a 2006 film.
Right.
I noticed on Amazon some of the dates are wrong because they're not putting the film date on it.
Okay.
In some cases, they're saying, "Oh, this is the Blu-ray release done 2 or 3 years later, or 4 years later, or whatever," and they've got in the release date of the product, not the date of the movie. So when you go looking for it, put the word "snakes on a plane." Try 2006 when you're looking. But if you go by the main actor Samuel L. Jackson or the director David Ellis, you'll be getting the right product.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys,
there you go.
Yeah. So, as Mike says, be careful with where you shop.
Be careful what you order. You just might get it.
Even though there's only so far in my on Wikipedia, there's only one movie that's called Snakes on a Plane. As far as
not worried about that so much. But we get finding, but there's also posters available there and soundtracks. Yeah, there's a soundtrack. So don't buy the CD if you're looking for the DVD. Okay?
I think people out there would know the difference.
Not necessarily. People click on the wrong buttons.
True.
Okay, just be careful what buttons you're pressing there. Oh, look, there's snakes. I'm planning to buy that. Okay, do it for clear head. Make sure you read what you're getting. You might get a poster instead.
Yes, so that's Snakes on a Plane. So you know where to find it. eBay, Amazon.
And you've got other streaming sites you might have at your disposal and whatever.
If you guys... I don't think you could find it on YouTube. I don't think. No, not at the moment. Maybe a few clips if you're curious.
You might be able to find on YouTube. You get on, because you get some clips, you get an idea what it's about, and then go and have a look at it. It's to me, it's a nice, fun action movie, a bit different. Snakes on a plane, that sort of stuff. Well, why not? The snakes need a bit of airtime, don't they?
Funny.
Airplane, whatever.
Airtime, very good.
I thought it was droll.
Anyway, so that's Snakes on the Plane. So be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you think of that movie. So this is Sarah Stephenson
and Marvel
saying, seeing you around on Boys and Ghouls. See you guys next time on our channel.
Bye
for now.